playing the Super Bowl, NFC Championship game. If you treat it the same, it's just ball, man. It's 60 minutes, potentially plus, of flying around with your brothers and having a great time and playing the greatest game in the world. The standard is always the standard. The media doesn't determine the standard. The opponents don't determine our standard. The standard is the standard, and we compete every day.
It's time for another edition of Cowboys Huddle inside the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco. Bill Jones along with Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer as the Cowboys wrapped up the season last Sunday. It's been a very busy week behind the scenes here at the Star in Frisco. And Coach, just to get things started, it's a marathon of a season, 17-game season, and yet you get to the end of it, it seems like it goes by so fast when you look back, right?
It flies. You know, I really remember sitting there getting ready to go out and play the opening game against Philadelphia and the pageantry of the first game of the season and actually the first game of the National Football League's regular season. And next thing you know, you're into January and you're playing your last game. Unfortunately for us, we don't expect to not be playing through January and into February, but those are the areas that we got to clean up to get there. All
right, on Monday you had the team back in here. What was sort of the message that you sent to the team as they go into the offseason?
Yeah, just really, a grateful heart, number one. I mean, how much I appreciate them, what they do, the sacrifice they make. We certainly came up short of our goal, but again, I do think we've built something pretty special here in terms of the culture. Very proud of a number of things that we did, the way we played on offense and some things like that. But more than anything, I wanted to thank them for their time, their sacrifice, and really the effort that they put into this season with the unique schedule, the four Thursday games, things like that. Of course, losing Marshawn was incredibly difficult, but how much I love them and appreciate them.
Yeah, and then there's the process of multiple days of exit interviews with the players. How important are those exit interviews, not only from the players' perspective, but from your perspective too?
I love them, and I think what's so cool for me, Bill, is like these guys, they open their hearts, and I ask very probing questions. I love to have hard conversations. That's part of one of my superpowers, I think, is you're not going to hurt my feelings, and I actually love that. And I think that's because the way I was brought up in a head coach's household. So, but these guys shared, man. They opened their heart. They gave me great feedback, and now when it's all done, we're finishing them up. I mean, now I have to go back, and the longer process is even putting all the information together and how I can use it moving forward to make changes and to make us a stronger organization, stronger football team to help us go win that world championship.
And the news of the week, change made at defensive coordinator. What are some of the traits you're looking for in a defensive coordinator or any coach that you hire for that matter?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd say this. I think Matt Eberflus is an incredible man, and again, what he's done for this organization and really for pro football is special. Those decisions are really hard, Bill, and a lot went into that decision. But, really anybody we hire, we're looking for teachers first. Can you teach complicated information in a very simple way? And can you say something one way and that, let's say you don't learn it that way, I have to say the same information a little bit different. So maybe that kind of grabs you because you are talking to 30, 35 guys in a room when you're on offense or defense. And I think that's really, really important. I'm a high energy guy, so I do love guys that love football and have passion and energy. So those are some of the traits that we're looking for.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of Cowboys Huddle. Up next, Will McClay joins the show.
Cowboys Huddle with Brian Schottenheimer, powered by Reliant, is brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Ford, your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, what would you like the power to do? And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort. Proud to be the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly.
Welcome back to Cowboys Huddle. Bill Jones now joined by Will McClay, Cowboys Vice President of Player Personnel here inside the Globe Life Studios where we got the telestrator out as usual. Not looking at an opponent, but looking at our own players now and some of the young players this season. How about we start with the first-round draft pick Tyler Booker at right guard on offense, Will?
Yeah, we want to talk about the future looking bright, and this is what we'll be looking for in the draft is young men just like this guy right here. So a young guy comes in as a starter, and what we felt is his ability to come in and be physical, was a positive, but we didn't know about his leadership, which has grown as well. But we're going to look at him here, just dominate an opponent.
Pretty good defense there, too.
Yeah. And the growth and upside of our offense is because we have young guys like him that there he is finishing the play. It's about finishing, competing every day.
All right, 12th pick in the draft. You got the 12th pick in the draft this year, too. Here's another play from Tyler.
Just one more time, we want to look at him here, but we want to talk about the intent that he plays with and how infectious it is for the rest of the offensive line. We're going to have a young leader here. We look at him here and playing the whole play. We get an offensive line to do this, the full team do this, we got an opportunity. But there he is finishing. The back's 20 yards downfield. He's still blocking his guy.
One of the keys to the improved run game this year. How about it, wide receiver, guy who was a 6th-round draft pick, Ryan Flanoy?
One of my favorite guys to talk about when you talk about determination, perseverance, as well as ability. Here's a young guy. You got George Pickens, you got CD, you got all these guys, but a guy that Dak Prescott counts on is because of his strength, his physicality, and just his want to. We're going to take a look at him here, running a double move route at a big time in the game and making a big time play. Here he is down here at the bottom. You're going to get motion. Dak's going to know he's got man coverage. You see 2 high safeties. But look at the route. He stops. Then it's a stop-and-go route, strength. Then he takes it to the end zone.
And Dak has a lot of confidence in him. Another example of Ryan Flanoy here.
Here we go right here. He's with Joe. All the quarterbacks love him because he's where he's supposed to be, and he's going to make plays. You're going to look at him down here. You're going to look at a very physical press corner, and he'll show you the strength. And you have to win one-on-ones in the NFL outside, and we'll show you Ryan doing it here against the Giants. All right. They're going to go. This corner is going to put hands on press, and he is not going to let him go. And then we're going to watch our man Flo fight off of it with his hands, get back vertical. There it is. Just the strength to get off of that contact, get open, big weapon moving forward.
All right, there's a couple of examples on offense. How about on defense in the 2nd-round draft pick, number 41 out of Boston College, Donovan Ezaraku.
Again, a young guy with the ability, but also the demeanor that you can build on. What is a young guy? All the veteran guys on the defense talk about his upside and his growth. I want to look at him here in the run game. Where he is, what he is really, really physical. He has quick, and he's got length to battle the offensive line, and he never quits. It's a big play for us getting the safety on the inside, but him reading that, penetrating, and then making a big-time tackle.
And then last week against the Giants, what would have been his 3rd sack of the season, if not for a tripping penalty on a Giants offensive lineman. And another example of number 41 here.
And it's the relentless nature that he rushes with. We're going to rush 4, sometimes we'll rush 5 at different things, but everybody's got to be on the same page, and somebody's got to finish, and this is a great opportunity to look at his desire and ability to finish. Here he is. We've got the quarterback squeezed in the pocket. He's moving around. It's just finishing and finding the quarterback. Too bad for that flag.
Yes. And how about at cornerback? Savone Revel, a guy who missed the first half of the season coming off an injury at East Carolina, but shows that talent that made him a 2nd-day pick. Could have been a 1st-day pick.
Could have been a 1st-day pick, but what he is a big, strong, long, athletic, fast corner. He's a press corner. Thing he specializes in now is press. This is a tight end right here. This is a corner who's not supposed to be able to cover a tight end. You're going to watch him put hands on him, slow the tight end down. And tight ends are a big weapon in the NFL now. He's a piece that can cover tight ends and receivers. Look at the physical press and then the ability to match up size-wise.
Here's another example here against a pretty good receiver with the Vikings.
Yeah, it's called baptism by fire. You put the young guy on an all-pro receiver in a big-time game, and you want to see guys respond and step up. Not too big of a moment for him. He's got press coverage in the red zone, and just his size and presence, he's put hands on Jefferson before. The release of Jefferson, because of his length, is really, really wide. It throws off the timing. Great job by the young kid.
All right, just an example of 4 of the young players the Cowboys will be counting on in 2026 and beyond. Will McClay, we appreciate it. And up next here on Cowboys Huddle, a trip to the locker room. We hear from the players.
This segment was brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort. Proud to be the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly.
Welcome back to Cowboys Huddle here inside the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco. I'm Bill Jones. Cowboys turning the calendar from 2025 to 2026. But let's take one more trip to the locker room and hear from the Cowboy players.
The speed of the game, and I feel like the game started to slow down for me with the more reps that I got. The more I saw certain looks, the more I saw certain fronts, the more it started to slow down for me, and the more confident I became within myself. And that's my advice to all the rookies coming next year. Like, remember who you are. Always have that confidence, because what got you here is what's going to keep you here.
What do you think does need to improve to get better?
I have to just analyze, talk to the coaches, analyze, and look at things. But I know first and foremost, point a finger at myself and try to get better. Especially with being able to be a game-changer D-tackle and get those big-time sack fumbles and affect the game at a higher level than I did this year. And I think that's step one that's going to help us go to the right direction. So I'm super excited. Especially having the offense that we have, having a bunch of great guys on defense that's coming back that we have. The defensive line room is phenomenal. Hope we get a lot of those guys back. So I'm super excited for the future. I'm super excited for this coaching staff, and super excited for this leadership to kind of step in and get this thing going. Like having Zero a full healthy offseason in his leadership, having Osa in his leadership, Kenny a full offseason in his leadership, me my full offseason in leadership also. So we have the guys in that unit to kind of get things going in the right direction. So
honestly, like, just because football is on, and, I'm a lover of the sport, through and through. Like, I'll watch it if it's on, but definitely, I won't be, I won't be tied to it. Like, I won't be, on the edge of my seat waiting on who wins there, who goes here. Because ultimately, it's where I want to be. And, I have to think about, all the things that happened this year and all the places we came on top and we came up short. And to think about why we're not where they are. So, yeah.
What is going to eat at you the most, you think, thinking about that, thinking about the missed opportunities?
Man, I think, it's just not taking those reps for granted. Like, I feel, as great as we were in a lot of aspects offensively, I felt like the things that really just kind of bothered me is, like, just our missed opportunities. Like, I still feel like, even though it may have took 40 to win some games, like, we could have scored that 40. And it was just a matter of, having that one red zone touchdown we needed instead of 3, or having those 2 red zone touchdowns we needed instead of 6. So,
Tough season. Frustrating in the sense, I think I've alliterated this before. One of the first seasons, if not the first in my career, right? I can't directly correlate my play to the wins, the loss, or the end of the season, or overall success of the season. So that makes it frustrating. One of the best offenses in the league, explosive. Now, sure, not always to our standard. Didn't play like that every week in and week out. But put up a lot of points. Unfortunately, right, just didn't win all the games that we should have, and didn't finish out some of those one-score close games on our end, and ultimately leads us to a 8-9-1 record. It sucks, but it's the reality. A lot of good in this season, but unfortunately, it's not, as you said, right. It's not the destination. It's not the end goal. It's not where we wanted to be. But thankful for the experience, thankful for the men in the locker room who gave it their all, the coaches, each and every week. I don't think effort or lack of focus or intensity was ever our problem. So appreciate everyone, giving it their all and leaving it all out there.
Dak Prescott second in the league in passing in 2025. And when Cowboys Huddle continues in a moment, the head coach rejoins us and we talk about the chemistry on this Cowboys offense this season.
This segment is brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
Welcome back to Cowboys Huddle here inside the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco. Bill Jones now rejoined by Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer. Coach, let's talk about your offense a little bit. An elite season as far as statistics go. Dak Prescott with another great season. What is it that you can take from this season, build on going forward in 2026? Offense?
Well, I think, I would start with just the influence of, Clayton Adams coming in. I think that was a huge get for us, Clayton coming in and kind of helping us and the staff kind of implement the new run scheme and some of the marriage that we're able to do with the running game and the action passing stuff. Again, I thought Dak had an incredible season. You look at the weapons that he has with CD and George. I'm very, very proud of those guys. Both those guys actually missed a little bit of time. CD missed, I think, 3.5 games and still was top 10 or 11 in yards for the season. And really proud of that. And then, of course, you got to talk about the offensive line, the holes that they opened for Javonte Williams, who had a tremendous year. And, you know, when you're able to take new pieces like a coordinator named Clayton Adams that's new, and George Pickens that's new, and Javonte Williams that's new. Oh, by the way, here's a right guard named Tyler Booker that's new to the mix, and still go have that success. I think that shows that, again, there's a brotherhood, there's a commitment to us doing things the right way, and just really proud of that group.
Had to be fun calling plays for that group too. And the other thing, what you're getting at there is you really don't know what the chemistry is going to be like. And it looked like the chemistry was off the charts from CD to Pickens to Jake Ferguson and Dak and so forth.
Yeah, and I think that's the superpower of a guy like Dak, right? He's such a good person. He's such a good leader. You know, it was the getaways that they would have where they'd go down to Georgia and they'd train down there and be just them, and they would do football, but they do life. And again, that's how you create a culture that will, you know, last a lifetime. And it's a big part of it, but he's certainly the leader when it comes to that.
You mentioned the run game and Javonte Williams with a 1,200-yard season and the improvement in the run game. How big was that from last year to this year?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, you know, you have to be able to run the football in this league to be successful. Certainly, it's one of those things that if you can't do that, it makes it a lot harder to protect the quarterback. So I love what we were able to do with, again, moving the pieces and the different types of runs we had. We actually added some different run concepts that we didn't have over the past couple years. And kudos to Clayton Adams, Connor Riley, Ramon Chin-Young, Derek Foster, those guys on the offensive staff. They did an incredible job of blending a lot of different playbooks into what arguably was one of the best offenses in the National Football League this year.
We talked earlier in the show about exit interviews. I'm curious about your conversation with Tyler Smith, who's been a Pro Bowl left guard, and then he kicks out to left tackle. What role was he curious about what role he's going to have in 2026?
Yeah, he actually was. And again, back to those hard conversations, you know, he and I had a real conversation. I said, look, at the end of the day, we see you as an all-decade guard. The Cowboys are used to having guys like that when you look at Larry Allen and things like that. But at the end of the day, our job is to play the 5 best guys, and that's what we're going to do. So I want to give you that answer right now, but at the end of the day, you'll come back here in the spring as a guard. But depending on how the offseason goes and into training camp, that could get adjusted. And what I did tell him was this: we won't wait too long in training camp to make that decision. It would be something that we would decide pretty quick. And in typical Tyler Smith fashion, he was like, cool.
Well, and he's used to it. His rookie season, he was training as a guard, and then Tyron Smith gets hurt, and he plays left tackle basically the whole season.
At a high level.
All right, we continue with Cowboys Huddle in just a moment. It's Schotty's Shot for this week.
This segment was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
Final couple of minutes here of Cowboys Huddle. Bill Jones with Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer. Here it is. It's time for Schotty's Shot for this week. And we're going off the field this week as someone who is very important to you in the way you do your job. And that would be Tyler Boyles, your right-hand man in that picture right there, your chief of staff.
Yeah, Tyler's an incredible young man. He got started, obviously, with Carolina. He went to Indianapolis for a while, and he's just been so valuable to me, Bill. Like, you don't imagine the things that come across my desk that I either don't really understand how to handle or move, and Tyler's so great at helping me organize my day so I can be the head coach, play caller, all those things. And he's just incredible at communicating and really bringing the whole organization together under my vision.
And Tyler, he's the graduate of Savannah State in Ohio. He was a basketball player in college. It's at Savannah State. But he's taken to football pretty well, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, and then the thing that we do, we do so much basketball shooting in the team meetings and stuff that Tyler's actually one of the best shots. I really don't want to say that about him, but incredible person, married 2 beautiful young girls, and the sacrifice that he does to help me be successful and lead this organization, I don't know where I'd be without him.
I love it. Tyler Boyles, Schotty's Shot for this week. It does take a village to do what you do. Brian, we appreciate it. We appreciate all of you joining us here this week on Cowboys Huddle, and we will see you again next week.
Cowboys Huddle with Brian Schottenheimer, powered by Reliant, was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Ford, your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, what would you like the power to do? And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys.